Welcome back, guys, to the Let It Rip podcast. I am back again to discuss the power rankings, but as you can see, it's all kind of in alphabetical order. So you guys don't know what's going to happen, but I do. And it's not just going to be me this time, as you all know. My boy Kwee is here, so I'm going to switch the scene. There he is, it's my boy Kwee. Say hello, buddy.
I'm the boy Kwee.
He is the boy
That's
Kwee.
me.
I'm hoping you've got a drink with you, Kwee. Do you?
I can get one.
You go
should
get
get
one.
one, shouldn't I?
Go get one right now. We can wait. I'll keep the.
How do I not know the rules of Let It Rip?
There's literally only 3, buddy. Literally only 3, and that's one of them. For those who don't know, while Kwee is sorting his shit out, rule 1, I might have got on with the one around. Have a webcam. Rule 2, get pissed. Rule 3, that's 5.
Oh.
We'll say rule 3. Don't be a boring cunt. So hopefully Kwee's not going to be one.
Oh, that's high hopes, man.
High hopes. I'm on the Corona again. As you can see, this one is already nearly gone. The reason for that is because Kwee fucking took his fucking time. Who is on Strongbow?
Yes.
The regular. Bit of cider. Can he go wrong?
I'm boring like that, sadly.
It's fine. I'm a fan of the dark fruits one myself, but yeah.
I see. It depends on the feeling, doesn't it? It's a bit sweet sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
I'm actually going to have the VOD up as well. I'm going to go full try hard on this one.
There it is. I'm just trying to make you look as good as possible.
I'll do it myself, my friend. Jesus Christ. Right, I've got last week's VOD up, and I am Gucci.
Let's view with your face while I went to go sort that out, but there we go. Beautiful.
There was that time on stream where a doctor was like, I need you to plug the merch you're wearing as hard as possible. And then just zoomed in really close on me.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
It was uncomfortable watching for everyone.
I loved it because you showed the shirt once, you then showed it again, and then you stopped showing the shirt, and then you just showed your face, just like,
I know.
hey guys.
It's just really awkward.
Right, so have you got the spreadsheet thing open?
I do indeed have the spreadsheet thing open.
Brilliant. So, what you guys don't know at home is me and Kwee have done a little bit of preemptive opinions. Just so we didn't go on for ages talking about this shit. So, as I've already explained to him that it's all in order. You were there, you heard. That so 7 deadly sins tries it up alphabetical order, and so we can just talk through it. So I think the first thing that we can go through, Kwee, is just the teams. So this is kind of like predictions, but also where we think they're at. Because we can obviously just look at the standings and say, well, 7 deadly sins, Revival, they've only lost once. But a lot of them are like FF results, aren't they? So, in your opinion, who's number 1? Who would you say is the one?
Number 1 team?
Yeah.
Still, chaz it up. Sadly, I think
sadly,
they're all sort of like top half players. Whether that's due to them looking good because the rest of their team's good, or whether they all are just individually good. For example, there's some players on that team where I'm like, they're all right. There could be upgrades in places, but generally, Chester have been relatively consistent since they're joining. So
I'm going to ask you right now. You said some players. Now, this is not a CompleteLeague authorized podcast. You can flame and not get in trouble for it. So, who are those some players that?
Spiteful and Pobaxy.
Yeah.
I understand this week Big Sexy is a bit lower just because of the ADC thing being stacked as well.
Oh yeah.
In the top half, especially with that 7 deadly sins guy.
What do you mean 7 deadly sins, guys? It's almost as if people think he's a Smurf. Completely legitimate player, AD carry. Right, but yeah, I can agree with that. Chaz it up are most definitely going to be first. And yeah, we can get behind that. Kwee, yeah, actually, I can do it like this. Brilliant. Let's get rid of those white markings. Look at that updates on the fucking video. This is fucking top quality broadcasting right here. You'll see it soon. So, second place, who are we thinking? Because to me, you've got teams like, as I said, Revival 7 Deadly Sins, really good record. Then you've got teams like Panther Chairs and EGT as well. So, to me, that's where the line is with the other teams being kind of lower.
The next 3 are somewhat interchangeable depending on consistency. I guess. So like it's fair. I think we've out of the next 3, we've got 1 in the same place, and that's putting EGT 4th. But then we have a slight discrepancy in 2nd and 3rd.
Right. Okay. So if the way I've done it is I've just looked at the next 4 teams being 7 Deadly Sins, Pandas with Chairs, EGT, and Revival. Is the teams that have kind of got the positive win-loss ratio so far. Excluding Checkmate White, who I think we can both agree after their performances.
It was 2 easy teams, to be honest, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the second week, they were against Starwish and Checkmate Yellow, which, to be honest, I think I could beat them single-handedly. So mate,
that's got to happen now.
Challenge has been put down. If anyone wants to come and fight me, let's go. 1v2, 1v2, 1v5.
Put them up, mate.
Yeah, I'll just go Ken and fucking destroy them. Watch it. So second place, who are we thinking?
So you went. I don't want to reveal yours because I think that's your job. I went 7 Deadly Sins, and that's based on one factor.
Oh yeah, there is only one factor in why you may or may not put 7 Deadly Sins as the second team. I think there's a lot to talk about if we compare. Because I think I put Revival. I can't fucking remember. It was yesterday.
Yes.
That one's down, by the way, boys. Second one is. This is my last one. Oh, fuck's sake. I bought
you only went through 1 last time, didn't you?
Pardon?
You only went through 1 last time, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But I should be okay. I think I went Revival, didn't I? So.
Yes.
They've both only lost 1. If I remember correctly. Maybe 7 Deadly Sins have lost some due to FFs, but I'm not
sure. They lost like every
Mm.
game last week because they didn't want to play with their sub ADC, so they just took the losses instead.
Yeah, I mean, you can't play with Firas, but you can play with Firas Evolved, can you?
Yeah, Evolved. Yeah, it's V2, basically.
Yeah, so... To me, Revival are... I underrate all the players. All 5 of the players I underrate because I've not seen them enough. But as a team, they beat Pandas with Chairs at least once, despite losing to them. Obviously, I was playing, so that doesn't really count. I'm a god. And then... I just saw you shake your head. That's not allowed. But yeah, I mean, they have picked up some decent results. But at the same time, if you're getting 3 wins against Starwish every week, it's one of those. So I think if I just put them up there, boom, look at this. So the way I've got it now, as you can see on the spreadsheet, is Chaz it up, 7 Deadly Sins, Revival, and with Corsa V on the team, who is more than likely going to be banned soon, and those wins are going to be stripped from 7 Deadly Sins.
See, that's why mine is like this week rankings.
Yeah,
7 Deadly Sins are there until Corsa V probably just inevitably disappears.
I hope someone sent an email, because it only works if they have, doesn't it? Has anyone sent one? At this point, people watching, the 50 people, which was quite a lot, everyone send an email. Every one of you has been like, this guy, look at it. I think was it not win trading, was it account sharing? I can't even remember what it was.
If you look at the OPGG, I think it was now about 15 days ago, he went from being a support main with 0 games on ADC, and when he played something like top, he would get like 4 CS a minute, pretty shit, like go 4 and 13. Then suddenly picks up ADC for the first time, 9 CS a minute, like 9 KDAs across the board, and then changes his flash over.
Yeah, it's stuff. The flash, I think, is the biggest thing in it when looking at account sharing, because I don't think I've ever moved flash off F since level 1.
I physically can't. Like, God, no. Like, the one you start with on your first stage just happen. I feel like it just stays the one you end up keeping.
It's muscle memory, isn't it? Yeah, like if you just shit on it, you press that button, I know where it is. So.
I'm not going to fucking ignite someone by accident when I meant to flash, like, or TP to a ward like right next to me. I can't change that over. That is like set. So
yeah, I mean, you play top a decent amount, don't you? So unsealed spellbook being somewhat of a well-used rune, how much does that piss you off? Because sometimes I want to just trade flash for teleport because I've already used the other one and I want to get back to lane and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then
that's the thing. I like watching Bronze Silver because none of them take unsealed spellbook. They just either they take ignite or they don't. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing. That's what I like. There's nothing you have to like be like, oh, they've taken spellbook. Now I have to think about this for the next like 10 minutes. What are they going to do with it as a caster? Whereas it's just like, oh, they've taken Ignite, the greedy cunt. And then, like, just roll with it. That's the great thing about watching Bronze Silver.
I think they just want the stats, don't they? So stuff like
KDA players.
Aftershock and then up in the top lane you've got stuff like Arcane Comet or Kleptomancy or whatever the fuck they're taking, depending who they're playing.
Yeah, there's a lot of Airy going around in the top lane.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Champions like Nar and stuff like that use the fuck out of that one.
Some even take it on Swain. Like, now Swain's super strong. Like, it's between, like, Phase Rush and, Airy. Some take Spellbook, but I think that's a waste. Like, they take the Ghost, but you don't really need it if you do take Phase Rush. So...
That's something that I often think about with top laners. You've got champions like Darius, Alawi, Swain being another one, where they're very immobile, but they can just single-handedly win team fights. But
fuck Alawi. God.
Yeah, fuck Alawi.
Fuck Alawi. Every time I go into like solo queue and like the enemy picks Alawi, I'm just like, okay, what is the most boring motherfucker I can play to counter this? And then it usually ends up being Gnar. Like... Yeah.
I think Fiora is my go-to because do you know that thing when she throws it out to catch you, and then she does damage to that ghost?
Oh yeah,
when you walk out the zone, it throws the fucking bunch of tentacles like it's some hentai porno.
It's not even the fact that that does damage because it's so easy to dodge. It's just the fact that it zones you off like 4 waves of farm. It's just like just fucking farm.
So I usually play Fiora into that just to riposte it, and usually it's an okay matchup, but it's like trading your ultimates, because as soon as you ultimate, she'll ultimate, and then it's like, okay, I've got to walk off, because she's basically gone from 10% health to 100, and I've gone from 100 to 10, so balance. Although before we start talking about Henshin, we've then got the EGT and Pandas with Chair, so I think we could put 7 Deadly Sins in Revival, 2nd and 3rd, I think that's fair.
Yeah. I think it's definitely EGT over PwC. PwC in their first week went undefeated. I think in the first week there was also the demote thing, which is where they were like pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I don't want to throw straight flame, but obviously since becoming a totally different team.
Oh yeah, a totally different team. Yeah.
Like they picked up a different mid laner. They got rid of Nikki and brought Pegasus in. Since then, I do believe.
Yeah.
Who I rate like 10 times higher. So I think Demote were really weak in week 1. You were playing for them in week 1 before Angry Cookie, so that sort of stuff led to PwC looking like the top team.
Yeah.
But it's massive, just sort of downwards spiral since then. Yeah. For them, really.
It was. I think they played Chazit, wasn't it? Was it Chaz It Up? Yeah, they did, and obviously them being...
And that happened.
Yeah, then that happened. They kind of...
Fiora Massacre.
Exactly. So I think that might have played a little bit of factor to do with Tilt, but... I mean, I still put them as... See, I thought it would be like a 9-week thing, with it being best of ones, but it's only 6 weeks.
Which... It was 8 weeks, but in Winter 2017, every split before then, it's only this split they've started the 6-week thing, so they have more time to like between splits, and also fewer like the dedication from staff could be more evenly spread out, and they had more time to make a better product rather than just going 8 weeks like, oh my god, here's too much stuff.
Yeah,
that's not including playoffs. So
yeah, not including playoffs. Because I reckon if it was a 9-week split, that Pandas with Chairs would dominate, just because them and Revival seem like the most concise team in terms of like mentality and actually having dedication.
I think from what I've seen, Pandas with Chairs have like a pretty dedicated coach. I'm not.
Yeah, Joyce. Yeah, Joyce.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's Diamond. I'm not sure, but obviously I've played on the Pandas with Chairs lineup, so without leaks, he is very good in terms of pick and ban. He's also good at taking in insight of players. So obviously, the first game was Pandas with Chairs versus Demote, which was one hell of a rivalry for the first game of Bronze and Silver.
Yikes.
And obviously, me playing with Demote, I was like, right, okay, well, let's ban these, and they've lost the game.
Wow, you actually snaked out your old team.
Oh, I snaked out the whole team. I didn't just because obviously we had a spreadsheet when I was on Demote with everyone's champions and how comfortable they were. But I just deleted that. I was like, I'm not gonna snake them out that much. I'm just like, maybe let's not give them this champion. Because if they do, you know, mainly it was just Alive. Just don't give them Tristana. Just do not give this guy Tristana.
God, I've never seen someone I want to get more fed than him. Like, every time I watch a game, if EGT are on stream, they've only recently started playing Just Alive again, haven't they? Like, this week.
I think they played in week 1 and then in week 3.
Yeah. I love watching people get super fed, and when you were like, this guy can be super fed, and then I went back, watched the Val thing, and I was like, damn, he's super fed. And I was like, that was fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I just want to see more of that.
There's only very few people in this league that have that 1v9 capability of when they get fed, and I think in my head I can only probably name 3, and those people are obviously going towards the top side of the standings. So, but yeah, I can agree with you. EGT over plans for chairs. Let's try and keep this on track as much as possible.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a tangent mastermind.
Oh, that's fine. If anyone watched the first one, they know. Once this gets like 15 minutes, it's gone. Like, we just get too bored and just think, fuck it. I mean, you touched on the the interworkings of the way that CompleteLeague is run in Europe, and that's something I want to kind of get to know.
Yeah.
But we'll.
I worked for CompleteLeague as EU head admin for quite a while. Like, I'm sort of. I like to think I'm in the know. I'm your whistleblowing guest.
Well, that's actually something I didn't even know. So there we go.
There you go.
Learning more about Kwee as we go. So, yeah, I think EGT have better mechanical players than Pandas with chairs. And I think it's a lot easier to improve macro than it is to improve micro.
Someone's ability,
Yeah, so they have the higher growth potential. I think maybe with the exception of mid lane or support, just looking at the comparisons, I think EGT have the better players, which is not to disrespect the 5 players on Pandas with chairs, because they are all good, and pretty much all of them are going to be in the top half. But
it seems like, PwC seem to be in playoffs due to their macro ability, which comes from having a diamond coach, I would imagine, as well as some other things. Whereas EGT are like, hey, we're good people, let's just roll with that.
Yeah, I mean, it should work. It should work, and as long as they sort out the drafts, you saw it in the game that I casted this week when it was. Who the fuck was it?
Ooh, did you do block 2 or did you do block 1?
I did block 2. It was a game when Izaro had Zach and.
That was the
fuck off.
CMY.
Yeah, it was CMY they were against. Yeah, so I'm not sure who was Guff playing in that game. I can't remember.
I think he went. Oh, he was boring this week. I think he played
It wasn't
Trundle?
Jace. Yeah, it was a Trundle. It was a Trundle because he played Jace in the first one and Trundle in the second.
Oh yeah, no, Jace. Oh fucking hell.
Yeah, his Jace.
I never misplaced so much trust in someone.
Yeah, his Jace maybe not the best, but yeah, Trundle, Zach, Victor. Ooh, the AD carry was. It was a late game champion. I know that much.
Was it Just Alive?
Yeah, was it?
What were we talking?
Yeah, Just Alive, and Rani was on Tam Kench.
Actually, no, I don't think it was. I think it was. Well. Wait, let me check. I've actually got it up here. Oh, this is what I was fucking prepared for. Here we go.
See, this guy. See, we make notes. Oh shit, we make notes as casters after every game, right? Well, I'll say we make notes. Kwee makes notes after every game as casters.
I try to make other people take note.
Yeah.
It was Jinx.
With Jinx, yeah, late game. So.
It was late game. I thought it might have been Caitlyn, but I think that might have been the game before.
Perhaps. That's a perfect draft from EGT. They've got the kind of Exodia comp of, we've got a split pusher on Guff. We've got the kind of engage of Isaro.
Oh, that TK that game was gorgeous. Like when I was watching that one. I went to a restaurant with my hockey society, and it was like a curry night, and I was like 2 bottles of wine. I actually bought 2 bottles of wine, ladies and gentlemen. Like,
holy
it was
shit, Kwee is sophisticated.
Checking my bank account balance the next morning was not like my nicest time. But I was like in the restaurant, I was like, every now and again I'll look at my phone, like pull up my 4G and like, this fancy ass restaurant, and just type EGT and chat. And as I'm looking back, I can see where I've done that.
Yeah.
And like
just like EGT in capital letters.
Yeah.
Oh!
And then occasionally I just saw like TK just. There was one moment in bot lane where TK ate like a 5 HP ADC, and I was like,
oh yeah, that was hype.
I'm reserved. I'm in a public place.
I think I just screamed it at that point as the caster, and then obviously Ninko Tech was on talking about the actual fight, but fuck it, that's boring.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, as we said, they've got the bigger potential for growth, EGT. So that brings us on to the bottom 4 now, which is Checkmate White, French Squad, who we didn't see play, but they did play Pandas and lost.
Alright.
So I think we can start to kind of put them on. And then obviously Checkmate Yellow and Starwish Esports. But I'm going to be very surprised if you put Checkmate Yellow or Starwish anywhere below that bottom 3. So would we be comfortable just putting Checkmate White in that 6th place spot?
I put Checkmate Yellow
You put...
just below PwC and Checkmate White below them.
Okay.
The thing with that is Checkmate White I have seen different people play for them every week. Whereas I think Checkmate White has been pretty consistent with the people they field. And I'm going...
I think it's the other way around, actually. Checkmate Yellow have had the same 5, and Checkmate White has changed...
Oh, did I say that the wrong way around?
You might have said that the wrong way around, Jay.
Yeah, might have said that the wrong way around, yeah. Like, I'm looking at my thing here, and, like, New Rochelle, Coolio, McDoodle, and Hildag, like, look completely new names to me.
Yeah, they are, yeah. They were new.
Whereas they had Dexter and...
Kronk
and... some other... And MCK, I think was the ADC, yeah. So I think Checkmate Yellow I put above Checkmate White just for consistency purposes, and also because Checkmate Yellow have Yerilin and CompleteLeague, who can be very good players. So I'm just sort of banking on that mostly. I think you've rated Checkmate White a bit higher generally in player rankings as well, but disagreements are had on that one.
I really rate Bytor as a jungler just because of the first week, but it's just one of those ones when if you do play against the bottom 2, then that's fair. But are they the bottom 2? Sure, I'm going to agree with you. I think Checkmate Yellow could potentially be in that spot with the performances that they've had. They were consistent, and you just mentioning Yerilin was like, to be honest, we'll get onto top lane soon, but this guy's seriously stepped up his game and was for a team that went, was it 1-1? I think.
Yeah, they were like the antithesis of just meh.
Yeah.
I don't trust the rankings on the website too much, but I'll see roughly where that takes us.
Oh, but, obviously the top power rankings that you did with all the players voting. So actually, that's going to be what I'm going to do.
Oh yeah, we could also talk about that. Oh, smooth transition.
There we go. Because I think we've done the teams now with Checkmate Yellow getting 6th. That means Checkmate White gets 7th with French Squad and Starwish Esports. Because, you know, I think it's easy to say that Starwish are the bottom team. Not in no disrespect to them. So I'm just going to make a second row, which is I'll just call it Power R, and I'm going to order the top laners. We'll remove that in a bit once we actually get the full thing done. Or the top lane done. But I want to know what the actual players themselves thought, and then we can discuss that and do our own. So hopefully you've got that somewhere.
Cool. Right. Right, so are we going over our versions or the power ranked ones?
We'll do the power rankings one. We'll see what everyone says.
I'll
tell you what, if you want to do us a favour, have you got the spreadsheet open as well? If you just want to...
the caster power rankings one?
Yeah, on the base point for podcast tab. If you want... Yeah, because preparation, boys. You see, I've done my job for this one. If you just want...
He's a good boy, isn't he?
Good boy. Now, I'm now a dog, apparently. Put me in the top lane, dog jump. Yeah, if you just want to put them in order, under the power R column, and we'll...
Power R. Right, cool.
And obviously remove myself. I've not said this yet, but I've taken myself off. I doubt I'm going to be playing again, and if I do, I doubt it'll be in the top lane. So I don't think it's fair to even talk about myself. And because of how much top lane may have changed, at least in my opinion it has, I don't want to put myself in that conversation, because at this point I've put myself top. So if I'm not putting myself, you know what I mean? So I just got to take myself off.
You cocky bastard. Right. We have that there. So this is just gonna be me like concentration face for the next minute or two.
That's fine. Just go ahead, bud. I've
got to remove you. Now I've got to work around removing you as well.
That's fine.
Right.
Fuck me. Literally, fuck me, please. Anyone out there?
Jesus Christ, dude. This has turned from a podcast to a plea for help.
Oh, it is, really. I've been dry for a good... Oh shit,
I
let's
feel like
not get into this conversation.
Yeah, I was about to say, how close are we to TMI by this point?
Yeah, let's not get into this conversation. Depending who watches, maybe not the best idea.
Young, impressionable people.
Delight, stop whoring yourself out on the Discord, man. Just chill. It's gonna be okay. You'll get there in the end.
Right, I've because of CM White changing everything, I'm just gonna put New Rochelle where Dexter was. I'm assuming that's all right. But
to put New Rochelle on the bottom, because in my opinion, Dexter played significantly better than New Rochelle. So we'll do that, and then we can talk about where we'd actually put him afterwards. I think that's the best way.
Cookie, then Groen. Oh wait, no, I fucked up.
It's fine. Just keep going.
This is literally confusing my small brain, dude. This is
We did all witness you try to do maths on the stream yesterday. It's okay. We know the mental capabilities that you have. It's okay.
Oh god, was that when I was like? No, I was looking at the wrong side. I was like, oh, he's got 2 out of 4 deaths. I'm like, no, that's how many kills they have. He's got 2 out of 6 deaths.
Yeah, it was,
I was like,
one of those. Look at that.
Okay, cool. That is now in order.
Big up Kwee for doing that for me while I just got to sit here and drink. I am going to run out, but that's fine. I've got Coke. We can just drink Coke. Ruin the entire podcast. So this is the order. We've got Guff being number 1. Dandalina second. I Endeavour, who no one's seen play yet, be third. I think that's a big...
Yeah, but they also have scrims to go off, though, don't they?
That's true, yeah. I think that shows how good he is, so maybe when we get to see him play. They've got Thrun 4th, which I think will be the biggest change for me personally, and I don't know about you.
I see you with that.
Cookie being in the middle spot at 5th, with the Yearling Artaxerxes. I hope I pronounced that correctly, buddy. If I didn't, just tell me how to pronounce it. But when you spell it like that, mate, there's only so much I can go from.
When you throw in accents I've not seen before.
Well, the way I'm viewing it is you've got Xerxes, the jungler, don't you, in Europe?
Yeah.
So if you just put
that's what I was spacing it off as well.
Yeah, Artaxerxes. That's what I'm going for, mate. If it's not, don't put a French name on an English podcast. Actually, I don't blame you, buddy. If you understand any of this or even watch it, fair enough. Big up French squad, Caretaker, and then New Rochelle obviously just picking up on that backside. So let's just go from top to bottom. So let's just talk about the general performances of top lanes. I think that's the biggest thing that we can talk about. Just because we've got the power rankings. Has Jungle or Mid been released yet, by the way?
The Jungle one, I'm not sure how many. I'm trying to get at least 10 results for each one, so I'm trying to coerce everyone into it. See, some people are super keen with getting in, for the mid laners, everyone was like, where the bollocks is it? I want to vote. I want to let me be, debatable about my choices. And then there's, I also have to try and coerce people, some community members like Val and people like that to do it as well. So I'm just sort of trying to get the last few for jungle, and then I'm only about halfway through mid. So that's an update on that.
Thanks again, because the way that I've set this up is just bad, but it'll be okay. It's sorted now. We've now got a little black bar from Skype on the top, but I'm sure nobody will mind. I'm sure, as long as they can see your beautiful face, it'll be okay. But yeah, I think the issue with jungle is we've only had the 3 weeks now to go off, and I don't think we've seen. We don't think even after 3 weeks, I don't think we've seen enough from.
So, anyone, you say it's only been 3 weeks, but that's actually halfway through the split now.
I know, it's mental.
That's the crazy thing, yeah.
Fingers crossed, French squad actually start to continue playing their games now. As long as they get a new support in, because obviously Lyasis left, they brought in Coolio McDoodle. They should be okay to start seeing them on stream, and we'll get a better opinion. So yeah, we'll sort out the jungle and mid in a second. So top lane, they've put Guff top. Would you agree with that one?
Ooh, that is tough. I think all the top laners have serious consistency issues. I think Endeavour could actually end up being towards that top spot. Okay. But obviously this is one of the main problems that happens with the power rankings is players have access to scrims and all the intricacies that go with playing actually against them. Whereas I also had a bunch of community members vote, like myself, who can only watch games. So a lot of, if I actually look at the sheet, a lot of Guff's top votes came from people from the outside, minus a couple who have played. Like, for example, you put him top, Artaxerxes, and I think that's it for players. Everyone else just sort of put him in that top half. That's the really crazy thing. So that is a debatable first one. Sometimes actually, something I do want to know. When I went back and watched the games that EGT have played, the same bans crop up. This guy gets targeted as hell.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't blame teams. He put in chat. I think was it 80% win rate on Swain.
Wait, is this recently?
I'm not sure how recent it was. I think you can search for it though. But
actually, I'll just search his OPGG.
Like, this guy honestly had an insane win rate on Swain in 22 games. I think it was. Having an over 80% win rate in 22 games is phenomenal.
22 games, 82% win rate, 3.56 KDA.
Yeah.
Sion, 80% win rate, 5.06. Okay, I can understand why he people probably take a look at that OPGG and then feel like, yeah, no, not those ones.
Yeah, that's really impressive. So the fact he's drawing bans is good, but I don't think it's something we can judge his skill off. At the end of the day, we've seen him play.
He's actually played for getting target banned. He has had a reasonably diverse pool going through.
I don't know. If that's a good enough excuse. So obviously it's not like top position. If you can play 7 different champions in 7 different games, but if you don't win every game, then that's you picking a champion.
That's the annoying thing. Sometimes he has a game like the Shen game, where like he completely popped off, and then he has the Jace game where it's a bit useless. Like I think the only consistency I can talk about him minus the Trundle game is his laning strong.
Yeah, that's true.
I think his laning is pretty much to a T. Like, I think he got a solo kill even in that Jace game. Whereas, obviously, the Trundle game, when you're playing Trundle and you build a split push build like he did, you're just going to be doing exactly that, so you can't really base his laning really on anything. Plus, also, Yearlin played that matchup well, but obviously I'm getting ahead of myself. It's still debatable to keep him top. Endeavor, once he's seen on stream, that could buy for it. ToNoldLina makes... I think ToNoldLina is the epitome of second place. I think he makes a lot of mistakes. Guff has beat him in lane. ToNoldLina also, like, when he's playing Darius, misses like over half the Qs, but he's Darius, so just hook them in and press W, and you're still fine. But yeah, it's a tough one for the top 3. I think the rest of them are all like
right. Okay, so someone you didn't mention massively was Yearlin, and for me, I think he really popped off. Like,
yeah, actually, that's a good. The Aurelia game, he played lane strong. He's definitely the best player on Checkmate Yellow, in my opinion. Definitely, when we're looking at the power rankings, definitely put him above Thrun. Whether he goes above Guff, ToNoldLina, and Endeavor is still somewhat in the air. I think, in fact, actually, when I did my rankings, I did put him above Guff, but that was obviously based on this week.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm basing it off of everything generally, I think he's currently 4th, could go higher, but his team's currently holding him back.
I think in the first week I put him 5th. I think I just put him behind. No, I might have even put him 4th, or maybe 5th. I don't remember who I put where. But he was definitely in that mid part of being one of the best players on Checkmate Yellow in games where they lost, right? And that's including games where, when I was playing for Pandas and we demolished him and he was still the standout performer on the Cho'Gath. So it's very easy to look like a good player when you're on a good team, and it's very easy to look like you're a bad player on a bad team. And I think Checkmate Yellow aren't the best team, and the results prove that. But the fact that Yearlin in pretty much every game still has a decent performance, and then when they win, and even when they lost against Chaz Up, he had a solid performance. And for me, if I'm looking at ToNoldLina, Endeavor, Guff, and Yearlin for that top 4 spot, I think the only one who deserves to be top of that is Yearlin, because I don't think ToNoldLina deserves it after his performance on the Camille against, I think it was Guff, where he just got absolutely demolished. And then in the game against Fiora, like the resources just getting funneled into him. So he obviously is playing really well, but I don't know if that's enough to put him first. Whereas Yearlin is just one of those champions who not champions, one of these players who actually is stepping up.
And he's stepping up, but it's obviously top lane is probably the worst role to try in 1v9 as. Like, even if you try to play a brute, like obviously CompleteLeague popped off on Fiora, but also his team wasn't exactly feeding, so it didn't really matter. Whereas that seems to be a problem with Yearlin, where he can do well in lane, keep up in farm, bully his opponent, but ultimately his team is not one he can rely on to stay at, in a good enough position that he can start doing work. So on a mechanical level, Yearlin's maybe probably up there, definitely. CompleteLeague just seems to, he could just look good because his team's good.
Right, so in my head, personally speaking, and not to be harsh on Endeavour, but I've not seen enough of him to put him in the top 3. So what I'm doing now, as you can see on the spreadsheet, I've got Endeavour 4th, and I've put Yearlin, CompleteLeague, Guff, and I think they're the competitions for the top spot. So I'm going to let you decide as the guest. Who's number 1, who's number 2, and who's number 3? Because for me, I think Guff has to be number 3, and that's the only little input I'm going to put for the rest of it.
That's fair enough. Like, when you look at that Jace game, like, it's really tough. I think you can put Yearlin top just fine, but also I think, like, there might even just be an underdog bias.
Perhaps. Perhaps it is, yeah.
Like, I think when you look at Checkmate White and you see a player like Yearlin who's just doing his damnedest to look good, and he does, but you can't help but feel like, oh, what a top player. But
yeah,
in reality, it's the same thing that happened when, like, you look at Echo Fox and you're like, back when they were pretty bad and they had Froggen, and you're like, Froggen, top player. Actually, no, Froggen is a top player. That doesn't count.
Yeah,
Froggen just couldn't 1v9.
I don't know if comparing Yearlin to Froggen is the best analogy, but I understand the concept of what you're trying to say.
Maybe my analogy was a bit off on that one. But
so what are you saying? You're saying we put CompleteLeague over Yearlin? Is that?
I think put CompleteLeague over Yearlin. Yeah, this is one of the toughest, man. Like, there's so many factors to look at when you're placing someone in a power rankings. Like, Guff, great laning, inconsistent when it comes to mid game, and then late, and has sometimes trouble translating a lead. CompleteLeague has a really good team around him that could just make him look better, but he also does, when he wins lane, he goes hard and snowballs. And then Yearlin, who's on a terrible team, loses most games, but looks really strong in comparison. It is literally so interchangeable. I think anyone can put, as long as these are pretty much the top 3, not including Endeavour because he hasn't played yet. Like, if these are somewhere in the top 3, most people can agree with it.
Right, okay.
And that is my, like...
I'm going to call you a knobhead now because you keep rambling. Who's number 1? Who's number 1?
Oh, you bastard.
One name. Who's number 1?
Okay, CompleteLeague, Yearlin, Guff.
There we go. Got there in the end, didn't we, lads?
No, I literally just... I can pluck those out of a hat and it would be the same.
That's completely fine. So at this point, we have Nirochelle, Throne, Artaxerxes, Cookie, and Caretaker. Now, I think rather than looking who's 5th, because I think that's a harder question, who's last?
Caretaker.
I think we can agree with that one. I said it in the first podcast. This guy gets put into 1v2 lanes when they have preparation to know how to go into 1v2 lanes, picks Rumble, and can't CS at all. I think he ends up with 8 in like 6 minutes. So yeah, that's fair. With 4 left and 4 spots, do we have an easy second to last? Because to me, in my opinion, I think you've got Cookie and Artaxerxes being towards the top part of that 4, and Nirochelle and Throne being towards that bottom part of the 4. Now, Nirochelle disconnected a lot in his gameplay in Sion against CompleteLeague. Throne has never been able to build properly. I don't know what's going on with Rapid Fire Cannon, Gnar, and buying 2 Sheens on Gangplank.
Okay, double Sheen was... Rapid Fire Gnar, you'll be like, oh, but he won. It's like, double Sheen Gangplank, like...
I think it's easy to win when you've got Firas on your team, though, so I don't know if that counts.
or Kosovo.
Right, so there's them 2, and then there's obviously Cookie and Artaxerxes. Now, the only way that I can judge Artaxerxes is going off the one game that he played off stream. And in that one game he played off stream, he was against Planet with Chairs, and Cookie won. And I think based purely off that, you have to put Cookie 5th because he is definitely better than the other 3. And would you agree with that one?
Yeah, I think the bottom 3 are pretty obvious. But between us there saying Cookie, I haven't seen a whole lot of Cookie. I've only really... he's been on stream a little bit, hasn't he? Just not too much.
I think he's only on stream for one game, and that was the game against Chaz It Up, which he did.
I was going to say he's been on stream not at all. So this is another... This is a rough one. I think it's fair enough. If Cookie won the 1v1, I think you'd have to give the head-to-head to him.
So you said the bottom 3 was obvious, okay? New Rochelle or Thron? Who's worse in your opinion?
New Rochelle kept DCing. Like, there's so... Jesus Christ, this is a mess. Like, so many things go into this. New Rochelle kept DCing. Caretaker's definitely bottom. Thron is on a top team, so should be doing better. So just out of a kick up the arse, I'm going to put Thron below.
Okay, I can see how that's fair. You can definitely use that as an argument. So what I'm going to do now is delete the power rankings. Is there any... I think the biggest thing to point out before we do this is the fact that Yerlin being so much lower and Thron being so much higher. Everyone else being pretty much in the same level. I think it shows a lot about team preferential. So 7 Deadly Sins being high, so is Thron. Checkmate Yellow being somewhat lower, and so is Yerlin. So we'll see how week 4 goes, because I don't know if Checkmate Yellow have played 7 Deadly Sins yet. And if they've not, that's a game to watch out for. So let's get rid of that column. Boom. Look at... I think this is brilliant. You guys watching this podcast must be having the time of your life watching this. This is the best podcast in the world.
Production quality.
Assured.
EULCS got nothing on this.
I'm going to ignore the jungle. I think that's fair, because I think the jungle is the biggest one to change compared to last week. So I want to jump straight to the mid lane, because I don't know, compared to what we had last week, if much is going to change. So if you guys remember kind of how it was Teedoggy, Moto Joe, Baxi, Pegasus being the top 4, and then the rest of them, which was kind of how it was.
This is the thing with this league. There's always like the top 4, 5, and then the rest of them. Like, the rest of them are the ones that are losing to the top 4, 5, basically.
So I'm just going to put the top 4 as it was. And would you say that any of those are worth swapping? I think Pegasus had a decent performance on Victor, but not a outstanding one.
I think if you stop putting up Pegasus on Galio, he can overtake Probaxi. Otherwise, that's fair enough.
Honestly, if EGT play Galio one more time, they are just going to put bottom of the team standings every single game, because, like, no disrespect to him, but some champions just don't fit certain playstyles, and for him, Galio doesn't fit his playstyle. And then the reason I put Teedoggy above Moto Joe is the fact that Teedoggy is someone that can get these 1v1 kills, and Moto Joe just isn't. And against EGT, that's exactly what Teedoggy did. He got a kill, and a solo kill, and granted, he got ganked to fuck, and a nice arrow just kind of went ham. But that happened. So I think those top 4 are fine. So looking at the rest of him, what's your opinion? So Politique, Ungodful, TBO, Ahoy, and Platypus. I think I'm just going to put TBO bottom anyway. So if we just talk about the other 4.
Haven't seen Erasure Platypus. Ungodful was pretty bad. Politique, I think, was on Talia, the game I saw him most recently, where he did alright in the early, then just massively fell off. And then Chodes Ahoy, again, Revival have not had a whole lot of screen time since week 1. But I think that's pretty fair, to be honest. Like, if you go Chodes Ahoy, Politique, Ungodful, Platypus, TBO.
So
or even TBO Platypus.
Yes, you've gone for Chodes Ahoy, then Politique.
Yep.
Then Ungodful, which I think is okay, because Politique had a really nice performance on Karma, and actually did a lot in that game when put on a champion that can't carry, and with an ADC that he can't peel for, which was decent. Ungodful had a really nice game when he was forced into a 1v2 matchup on Malzahar, and did well. So I think there is a decent mid lane pool in the Bronze and Silver League. I just don't think we've seen enough from certain players. I think that's to do with the meta. Would you agree? Like, if it's best AD carry wins, surely.
Yeah.
So
pretty much. AD carry can do exactly that. He can carry 1v9 if he really has to, which is why we've put don't want to jump the gun, but just the life is always really highly rated just because he can do exactly that. So.
Yeah, I think let's just skip on to it. Let's have one of the biggest discussions between the Smurf account sharer Corsavi and Just a Life. So we saw them two come against each other in the game between Seven Deadly Sins and EGT. Obviously, I know you weren't watching it massively at the time, but hopefully you've gone back to watch it. As a good caster that you are, Kwee.
Yeah.
So it was it Cogmore versus Caitlyn? Cogmore being Corsavi, Caitlyn being Just Alive, and Cogmore. I don't want to say demolished
2-3 of a lane.
Yeah, he had a free lane. He got more CS. He was winning the trades, and
Caitlyn didn't try to trade enough. I don't think the second Bio Arcane Barrage goes down and he's used it, that's where you can take really advantageous trades on Caitlyn. Caitlyn's trading is insane. Like, you literally just auto them the second they walk up for farm. This is obviously implying Bio Arcane Barrage is down, and then you can basically just harass down and do the same one to Janna if you really need to. I can't remember who Rani was playing.
I think it was Braum.
I think it was Braum. If you're playing Braum against Janna, Braum can definitely go in the face of Janna. I think they played that lane way too passively and just let Corsovi scale. So this is the thing with Just Life. If he's fed, he will 1v9, but the question is he fed?
Yeah.
And that usually leads to, because he plays lane really safely. He likes a snowball lead given to him, then make his own, I think is probably fair to say.
Yeah, I can echo that comment of, as you said, he won't force an advantage, but once he gets it, he then forces more. One thing I do want to point out with that matchup is there was a kind of just after the laning phase ended, I personally think Just Alive played better. Now, watching Twitch chat during that game, everyone was like, Smurf, get this guy off, Smurf. My mess is deleting comments because fucking everyone's going ham about him being a Smurf. But actually, like, this guy flashed into like a Baron pit or whatever and just got demolished 5v1. Like, that's not how Cogmore plays. And Just Alive is getting some really nice trap placements down and kiting really well on the Caitlyn. So, going off what I know this guy can do, and maybe it's a lot of bias coming into this, but I personally want to put Just Alive above Corsavi.
If we're looking at Val tournament and what Just Alive can do, as well as his game with Jinx, where he was just like positioning really sound and did some incredible orb walking as well. Something I saw like kiting around people like on a micro level incredibly well. If he can do that on a more consistent, EGT is just like, can they do it consistently? Probably not, but they're good.
Yeah,
that's their problem, and I think it's the same for Just Alive. But Jesus Christ, this man can be good.
So we put Just Alive above Corsavi.
Yeah. We haven't seen any of Corsavi, plus I seriously doubt we'll see him much more.
Yeah. Just like Academy, this guy is going down. Leaks, by the way. No one from Bronze.
Oh yeah, I missed that. I just got PM'd like, so what are your thoughts on the Smurfing? I was like, who the fuck's been banned now?
It was brilliant. Just to fucking go on a tangent. So obviously I'm the coach of LoL Squad, and Dave, the once AD carry now support of the cutest couple in the Gold and Platinum, or even CompleteLeague community, and Kwee shakes his head.
What happened to me and Rani, dude?
Unfortunately, mate.
Nah, joking.
We all know you've got the girlfriend now, IRL. You're in the big leagues. We don't need these online long distance relationships. Anyway, yeah. So Deef kind of just got onto a Reddit post of what the fuck's the name? It was Alice.
Is this on?
Oh, you turn your.
Is this on Academy? Have I?
Yeah, turn your camera off, mate.
Oh, I have as well. Fucking hell.
Banter. Yeah, so the support of Academy put a post out on Reddit saying Diamond/Platinum player looking for team. It was like Diamond 4 or Plat 2 kind of thing. And so there's two different accounts. So then they looked on the account where this Alistair was playing, and it was playing with the teammates on Academy. So you could see that it was obvious that was the same person.
What's his name? Oh, Sexy Asian Grill.
That's the one, Sexy Asian Grill. That is the one. So, obviously, the Bronze and Silver people watching this won't really know, but I think you guys need to kind of get
I'm
more
a GP
involved.
caster. This is where I shine.
Yeah. So, the issue is from looking at just going on to casting for a second and the stream itself, looking at it, you've got just the Bronze and Silver people watching Bronze and Silver and just the Gold and Platinum people watching Gold and Plat. And this, from someone who's heavily involved with Bronze and Silver and someone who cast for Gold and Plat and obviously coaches there too, they are both really entertaining leagues. And I've not seen anything of D+, and I doubt I will, but...
Sadly, I have to. When I first joined CL, the only one I really cared about was Gold Plat, because It had the biggest community at the time and stuff, and also it was the most popular to watch, so therefore it was the one I wanted to cast the most.
Yeah.
And then Bronze Silver died infamously, didn't have a league last split. Then it came back and it's got a community going and all that, so that's like way more fun to watch. Obviously, why I'm here. D+ has always been boring. Everyone at D+ is egocentric and their Discord is dead. They just sort of show up to play to feed their egos, and it's not really too interesting to me. Well, obviously, the level of play is 10 times higher than you'll find in Bronze Silver, but it's less interesting. Like, when you can watch Bronze and Silver people like slap each other as hard as possible in lane, whereas like Diamond people are like respectfully farming for like half an hour.
Yeah, when you've got Star Wars Esports doing lane swaps and Checkmate White throwing their bottom lane in mid, I think it's a little bit more exciting. Maybe it's because I got to cast some of those games, but I don't know. I had a good time with those. But yeah, this is kind of a shout out now to Bronze and Silver. Just go watch Golden Plat. I think it was on like 68 or something. I nearly said 69 because I'm plucking a random number, but the jokes there were too obvious. I'm not going to make him. But literally, Bronze and Silver people, just go watch Golden Plat because it's honestly entertaining. I know the Discord's a little bit of a clusterfuck sometimes, but as long as
if you
get a rough idea.
You ignore the Discord.
Yeah, like they're decent games to watch in terms of mechanically and macro wise because they're a lot more proactive than teams in Bronze and Silver who are more respectful. I think that's nice to see anyway. But yeah, that's something that you should go do.
Yeah, I say this on stream a lot when I cast Gold Plat. Gold Plat's like the nice balance between Bloodbath that you get in Bronze Silver and the like more calculated stuff you get in Diamond Plus.
Yeah.
So that's one of the really good things about Gold Plat. It's like a nice middle ground, and it makes for really good viewing. But I think we have literally just gone on the widest tangent available.
Yeah, let's go back to where you carry because we've got a massive hole below Corsaby on who's there. So I think for me, the conversation is between Big Sexy and Halcyons. I don't know if anyone else there can really compete. Babylon I put kind of underneath them last week, but we didn't play and he didn't have the best performance anyway, so Big Sexy or Halcyons, what's your opinion?
Big Sexy, this is annoying. Halcyons probably, I'd put higher. Halcyons usually ends up, like Motor Joe we put quite high in mid, but Motor Joe just has an insane, you cannot ban the guy out, whereas you can for people like Guff, you can just ban him out and you're fine. Whereas Motor Joe seems to have like literally anything he feels like playing, he's probably already got like 20 games on this split. So, like, he'll probably like pull out something stupid like Heimerdinger at some point and already have practiced it. But that's the thing about Motor Joe. Like, you can't play around like against him and pick ban, which is really strong. Halcyons though actually is the one I think is the carry. If you get him fed, he'll probably do really well. His farming numbers are good. That's pretty much it. Whereas Big Sexy doesn't have to be the carry for his team, so he usually doesn't really do a whole lot. He doesn't feel the need to. So that might just make him look a bit more relaxed, therefore a bit lower.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect that. Big Sexy is a good player. He's good in lane. He tends to not lose it, and in the late game he can carry. I just think the big thing is just his impact in those areas where he's not got an item spike, which is hard to punish a player on. Like, you want to play around your item spikes, so to have the knowledge of doing that, you can't really punish them on having that kind of mentality. But he's not flashy. He's not a player that you can go back and watch and say, yeah, Big Sexy was everything in this game, except for that one game when he played Jinx against EGT. But I think that was more EGT being shit.
I think didn't he have Gathering Storm that game?
He might have had it, yeah. But it was.
I heard the casters talk about Gathering Storm, and I was like, if Jinx has Gathering Storm, this game's so over.
I think, yeah, with a 15k gold league, with the Galio and a Shen, both not using ultimates when the Annie engages, I think that was enough just to say, yeah, okay, this isn't Chaz it up being great. This is EGT not knowing, even not having the communication to be able to react to stuff like this, or just not being good enough at the champions that they were playing. But obviously that's not something that I can really get the answer on with neither of them being on the podcast. But that's the top four done. And I think I agree with you. Glenn obviously didn't want to be pointed out on the podcast. We had the conversation about it. Apologies for any bad blood. I know you don't know about this, Kwee, but yeah, he didn't want to be on this list. But at the end of the day, mate, everyone else is. So apologies for the conversation that was had. 5th place, we've got Babylon, we've got Paxlow, we've got Pavlov's Cat, we've got Kuze.
Noximian. No, Nimixium.
No, I think before you even get, because for me, and I like him as a guy. I think he is the worst player in the league. And I said this last split, which is harsh.
Someone has to.
Someone has to be it. And it's not just read on meta, it's ability to play it too. And when you've got a Sheen, when the opponent AD carry's got an Infinity Edge, and when you're playing Corki AD carry, there's more than one thing going wrong there. So unfortunately, buddy, that's your spot down there. But who's fifth? We can either go up like we do last time, because we can actively split these most of the time of these are the top guys, these are the bottom guys. So have you got someone that you want to put as a second last, or someone that you know deserves that fifth spot?
I think for fifth spot, it's between Paxlo and Babylon. Babylon he did alright on Varus, like obviously, but he missed literally every ult. Yeah. And every time his team tried to make an engage, like he was like, his reaction speed was like, oh, they're engaging, but by then his team's died, and he's like, wait, what the fuck? Yeah. And then he throws out the ult into nothing, and that's basically what happened towards the end of the game. And then Paxlo is probably one of the better players on. Well, obviously, we spoke about Iron Endeavor earlier in the top lane for Revival, but we haven't seen them on stream. Whereas Paxlo, we have seen on stream that he can do well. So I think I'll still go Babylon Paxlo, just because, again, not seen much of Revival, but despite being rated as a top team because of their off-stream wins. So clearly something's going well for Paxlo. But on that just might be macro. We spoke about plans with chairs originally being really high, just mostly through macro. So Babylon mechanically a bit higher.
Okay, so we'll put Babylon above Paxlo. I'm going to just put Coolio McDoodle and Kuze in that other spot then, because I think Pavlov's Cat is the kind of the bridge between the two. So if we just put him in that next spot, we are then between the French squad AD carry, who we've not seen, and Coolio McDoodle, who actually had a decent performance compared to the majority of his team playing in that bottom lane on AD carry. We then know that he filled in for the French squad support, but because we've not seen anything of Kuze and he lost, I want to put Coolio McDoodle above him. So would that fit nicely with you?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So that's the AD carry, that's the mid, that's the top lane done. Support, which again is the boring one.
It is.
I think the best way to split this up is who's good and who's bad. So I'm just going to move shit around. Just looking what you can see there on the podcast. I'm just going to move the players which aren't necessarily in the best spot there, and then you've got the rest of them which are there. And to be honest, I think you can split this into three groups actually, with Majordan 2 and Poe being the kind of okay ones. I think Majordan 2 had a really good game on Janna, which is an e-girl support, but fuck it. And Poe's been relatively consistent from what I've heard.
I think I would put Poe above Majordan 2. Majordan 2 seems to be getting carried by his dodgy AD carries that he keeps playing with. Like, honestly, Fearless and Crossover seem to be the ones winning the lane, not him, in my opinion. Like, if you look at him on a mechanical champion, like I think I've seen him play other stuff, like in Val's tourney, I think, when he was playing with then, and when he was playing AD carry, like, mechanically, the guy is not very sound at all. Yeah, I think Poe is probably safer to put ahead.
Okay, I can agree with that. So we've done the middle group. Now let's go to the bottom group. For me, I think Coolio McDoodle played trash, from what I've heard. Yep. Diesel Uterus really hasn't performed in any games that have been on stream. And Hildag XCO played Blitzcrank and couldn't land a hook half the time. So, I don't know. I think that just automatically puts the Babsk above them.
Yeah.
So we'll put these guys up there. And I think from this point, we can literally just go off placements and just put, as you can see there on the podcast, if I don't fuck it up, which is just something I tend to do with everything that I do in life, but fair enough. Diesel Uterus, Coolio McDoodle, Hildag, XEO being in that kind of bottom to top order. As I said, it is support is it's not only that it's not the easiest role to judge, but it's also the fact that you can't tell what a support does in game. Yeah. Like, a lot of the time, supports are the ones that are talking, whether it's something as simple as screaming at the team to buy vision wards, or actually being the shot caller. It does depend. So finally, it's that top three. And I've put it in order of Ronnie, Spiteful, and Valk.
Yeah.
I think it's quite hard
that's fair.
to change that, in my opinion. Valk, we know, is a decent shot caller, but mechanically, he's not the kind of playmaking support that you'd expect. At least he's not, from what I know from being in the Panzer Chairs community, he's basically being restrained as these kind of more appeal support than being able to be the playmaker. But we saw some clutch devours come out from Ronnie, really popped off with Sam Kench. Hasn't massively had a bad game. A couple of misplaced ultimates here and there. But other than that, like, solid player. So, well, Spiteful...
Yeah, plays well in the ADC. I think that's what Ronnie does quite well. So,
while
you have to sort of, I guess...
invisible, Ronnie has been active, and I think that's kind of how you split the three up.
I think with Spiteful, like, she's... Oh, I like how the top two supports are both the e-girls of the league.
Oh, brilliant.
But Spiteful has been invisible, but I guess that can't be much of a complaint. I think in the caster's notes, someone wrote under Spiteful, the good kind of invisible support.
Yeah,
like, doesn't really do anything, but you can rely on them, so give that to her.
So I think that's top mid AD carrying support done. I said this would be 20 minutes. It's probably been a little bit longer. Big up Charlie, who has just again made the appearance on the podcast that is now going to be tradition. Jungle. Jungle's the big one. Jungle's the one that we can really get our teeth into.
Yes.
And I'm going to have a tic-tac because I've not got any experience.
Jesus Christ. I think a lot of junglers get quite offensive, so this is where we sort of,
Right, now, in the last podcast, I put Spanish Omelette and Znoko being the best performers on their team. So the first thing I'm going to notice, put a little cap on, is the fact that Spanish Omelette had a dreadful performance last week. He was in 2 games. In both games, he really underperformed. So I'm just... Because it was so hard to pick last place last time, and I ended up going to B-Slayer because no one was particularly that bad. Now I know someone that's actively played bad. And because of that, I want to put Omelette last. So I'm just not going to let you do that. We've then got... Because I want to go from the bottom up, because I think that the top half is a little bit more of a conversation. So the junglers that you can consider for this bottom bit is you've got junglers like Znoko, who played for the worst team. You've got junglers like B-Slayer, who we've not seen a lot of. Same with Khan. You've got Bjergsen, who was pretty low anyway, then had a performance on Camille where he really did not shine. Did not look like a comfort pick. So I think they're in conversation for those bottom ones.
Yeah. I think I have the problem I posed with Thrun is the same one I have for Bjergsen. Like, you're on a technical top team, which is being carried by your mid and AD carry. Like, you need to start stepping up. Yeah, I think a lot of people, junglers in Bronze Silver, like, oh, but if you put me on Sejuani, if you put anyone on Sejuani, you'll do well. Like that's the thing. I feel like B-Slayer and Bjergsen, you throw them on Sejuani, they'll do fine, but throw them on anything else, and they are just like a fish out of water.
So looking at it then, if we judge it on the fact that it's a scale on -10 to 10, so 0 being the norm, kind of, 10 being the best, -10 being you're playing abysmally, I want to put Khan on 0. It's kind of a way to work around.
Yeah.
So players that have been playing better than him, so Pentheus, I think Baitor, I think Ice Arrow, I think Delight, I think you can put Beastslayer above him too. I think you put Snowco above him. So the fact that you can even put Alta Blast above him too, and I think the only one that I didn't mention there was Bjergsen. So based purely off that, what I want to do is put Bjergsen second last, and then Khan third last.
Alright. Makes sense.
Which I think is a decent way to talk about it. So with them being the ones that are normal and lower, or average and below average, we've then got the rest of them. And I think just because we talked about Beastslayer and Znoko, I think it's pretty easy to put, as you can see there on the spreadsheet, Znoko 4th last and Beastslayer 5th last, or in the middle. Which leaves the 2 supports of VGT, it leaves Baitor, it leaves Delight, and it leaves the Pentheus, which is where the meat and gravy of this jungle pool is.
Yeah, I think Baitor had a good week, and when they went 2-0 on, I think it was even both on stream, against the weaker teams, Baitor did well, but later on, when he actually had to start stepping up for his team to prove they're not just like noob stompers, Like, I feel like his Skarner was invisible.
Yeah.
Like, so I can't rate Biter above Serpenthius or anyone like that at all. I think even Ice Arrow in that game was actually insane. And even in their loss to 7 Deadly Sins earlier on in the day, like, Ice did incredible. So I think I can't put Biter above Ice, in my opinion.
I think I'd agree with you. I think looking at Baitor's performances, I maybe hyped up Checkmate White a little bit too much because they played Checkmate Yellow and won. They played Starbush Esports and won. And the way they beat Checkmate Yellow was with a cheese strat. And Baitor, they said he was a little bit invisible. He did get a couple of assists and decent ganks off, but compared to his performance and compared to the other performances of the above-average supports in the league, you've got Delight, who's been really consistent and a really solid jungler for the team. You've got Ultrablast, who had a fantastic early game on Karzik. You've got Ice Arrow, who had a fantastic performance on Zac. And then you've got Serpentius, who's just been really consistent on these kind of tank junglers the entire split. So I think just because of that, you have to put Baitor in that final spot, which leaves us with the final four of Ice Arrow, Serpentius, Ultrablast, and Delight. And I think you've got to put Ultrablast below the lot.
Yeah.
Just because of how...
just because you haven't seen much of him.
Not seen much of him. Decent early game.
Okay.
Poor
I think
game.
Out of all the junglers, if we see more of him and he does the same way he did in that Kha'Zix game, where his early to mid game was actually insane.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely out of this world. But then his late game, where miscommunication came into play and, like, he fell off. I think if you look at him more, if we see more of him and he irons out those, like, problems he has in late game, top jungler, easy. But yeah, he just seemed to fall off despite really strong earlier on. So that's fair enough. And then I think the toughest one, I think Serpentius is fine to put top on a consistency level.
I think I'd have to agree, yeah.
Yeah. So then it's between Ice and Delight. And Ice, on a good day, is actually insane. That Zac game was not even fair for the opposition. Like, he dismantled them almost single-handedly.
I think because I played for both what was Demote when Ice Arrow was the jungler when I was mid, and I played for Planets with Chairs when Delight was the jungler when I was the top. I think I'm in the best position.
So it's down to you on a
decision.
personal level.
Yeah, I think it's down to me to make the decision. And they are both very, very good players, but in terms of being just impressed, like gobsmacked by how good these players can be, I think you've got to put Ice Arrow top. If you just... I know I've questioned the Val's Bronze and Silver tournament more often than maybe I should with players like Ice and Just Alive. But I think the game when Ice Arrow played Zac against Checkmate Yellow just proves it. Proves what I was saying about him. He has the potential to be good. He's got a mentality issue, and maybe next week he's back down in the bottoms because he's just had a non-existent game again. But if he continues to perform like he's doing, he is better than Delight. But it's one of those.
If he was consistent, the reason I put Serpentius top was out of consistency.
Exactly.
If Ice Arrow did this every week, easy top.
Easy top. So I think we've done that. Then I think the power rankings have been joined. They've been decided. We have the teams joined. We've got top, jungle, mid, early carry, and support. That's done now. We've explained our reasonings. You cheeky cunt. Hang on, there's 3 people. Oh, it's probably me twice. I don't care. You can see that fucking red thing. I've done that. Anyway, fuck that. That's done now. You've got it. There's your power rankings. Actually, it's there. But for me, it's there. Yeah, whatever. So, Kwee.
Yes.
That's that done now. We can start getting into the boring, arguably boring part of the podcast because we're talking about you and what you've done for CompleteLeague. And I'm on a big bottle of Coke because I've run out of beer. So, you said you were a head admin. Was that last season?
I think if I go in chronological order and just briefly outline what I've done, I came in as a player, had a couple gold plat tryouts, that didn't go too hot, became a caster, did some management work for them, became assistant head caster, then just did even more management stuff, and then they sort of honorarily, from there I was doing so much stuff, they basically just gave me the title of He Who Admin because I was just doing so much by that point. Then dropped back down. Just to interrupt there,
were you doing like when you?
I was doing full back end. Like I was doing all the papery stuff in the back. Like I I was running through reports, I was doing emails, I was doing interviews for staff, I was doing website stuff, I was doing everything, pretty much, that you can do.
So just to kind of slow it down a little bit, you mentioned website stuff, and I know this is something that particularly the bronze and silver community have a huge issue with. So obviously you're not the head admin now, but I want to know if you've got a little bit of an insight to do with this. So we don't have the schedule for next week, when I think Gordon Platt have it for the entire split. We don't know who's getting casted before the day itself, a couple of hours. And these are things that teams and players are getting really upset with. We've got, teams like French Squadron still in the split that are constantly changing who's getting casted, and we've got all these issues that are going on. So can you just give us a little bit of insight on what the kind of admins are, what they do, and why we should kind of give them a little bit of a break?
So the problem that EU has had for pretty much since the start of CL started as an NA-focused NA organization for Amateur League. NA then blew up, and so basically the demand came through, and the CEO, Mindmesser, who you might not see a whole lot of in Bronze Silver, he only, when it comes to EU, he mostly caters to Gold Plat because they're the biggest one, and they are also the most vocal, to say the least. But he basically started the EU, and when you do that, pretty much something that's going to happen is there's going to be a startup slump. Whilst NA is like this huge, like loads of, like the majority of NA is Silver 5 players or Gold or whatever. Like their Bronze Silver League is like a filled Premier and like 20 Open League teams, right? Well, okay. So they need a lot of admins, understandably, because every Monday they have like full games going Premier League like at any one time, and they've also got like another 5 to 6 going on in Open League. So the admin work in NA is insane. So that's basically to give some slack to NA admins. Like if you see an NA admin and you're like, oh, you're a dick, it's like they're under a lot of stress. There's a lot going on their side of the pond. EU admins, there's just not enough. Like when I was in charge of emails, I got the only NA were getting floods of emails of people wanting to be casters and stuff like that. Whereas EU, occasionally there'll be someone like, hi, I can stream for you, and then they don't actually end up showing up, and then it's just really awkward. So EU, we can't. There's only so much we can do with recruitment posts and stuff like that to get EU admins. We had some great ones. Fowles unfortunately just stepped down. CJ is going to be taking up the mantle of head admin as well as head organizer when he gets back from China, where he's doing an apprenticeship job. We've also got people like Doctor who do casting. You won't see much of him, but we are getting more organizers through. And something EU CL has recently started doing is employing some players, should they want to do stuff like organizing games, which is good. Because originally they're like, no players, and now they're like, okay, we kind of need players to do it. So it is just, there is a shortage of staff in EU, so you have to give them, like the people who do the work, some slack because they are covering for like what possibly could be a job for 3 people.
Right, so there's a jump cut there, guys, because I fucked up the technical difficulties, and this is why we don't stream it, because I had to mute my mic and then re-enabled it and you couldn't hear me. So obviously, Kwee just went on a ramble about the question.
It was quite the ramble.
It was quite the ramble, but it was good to know, because I think people kind of need to get these answers answered, these questions answered, because there's a couple of complaints in the bronze and silver community, and I think that's a fair point. If more people were, there to step up and be an admin, or at least an organizer, and help little things get sorted out, people, one thing that I want to kind of put light on is that people complain in Golden Plat too about the fact that it doesn't always update the website. It's, the standings.
I have a good one for that.
Go on.
Regarding the standings, okay. You said in the original question, which I didn't actually end up talking about, which was the schedule and the standings. The standings are automatic. Riot API is a very fickle thing. The way that API works is that we get our automatic updates through Riot giving the information to us of what happens in a game Riot generate the tournament code, and we generate the tournament codes using that API.
Right.
And so what happens is EUGP has their codes mass generated, right? They've got a filled Premier League and a pretty full Open League at any one point. They have all their things are mass generated at once because EUGP, because it's so busy, is usually the one where the most admins are stationed for EU, as my glasses are fucked up.
Hey, I mean, it wouldn't be the Let It Rip podcast if just shit didn't end up casting at the end, would it? Anyway, so thanks, innit? Fuck it.
But yeah, so EU Bronze Silver, because it's only recently been revived, it's mainly just, it was more or less Val who ran it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of the people who do work in Bronze Silver are usually the newer people, so they obviously don't know how to mass generate codes and stuff. That's why those are often quite stilted in between. But Val did a good job of making sure there's a stream schedule, regardless if it was late. He had to manually make it, so you have to give him slack on that one, because he did have to go out of his way to do that, when in reality he shouldn't have had to. And the standings, they're automatic. If you use an unregistered player, it will not update. If a team does not show up, it will not update automatically. If a team forfeits willingly, it will not update. If it's rescheduled, it will not update, because the game has not happened through that tournament code when it was supposed to happen. Therefore, the Riot API is like, the game didn't happen. We're not going to change the standings because it didn't happen. If you use an unregistered player, that also has the same effect, because the team that you're using is meant to be in that game. The website signs you up with your LOL username included. And if that username isn't in the game, or there's a username in the game that isn't on that website, it gets super confused and just discounts the game. And the thing is, as admins, we can manually update the games, but it's not as easy as just clicking, they forfeited, they won, and then just going through it. Because obviously you could just be like, French squad forfeited, French squad forfeited. There is a lot of back-end sheets we have to fill out to make sure that we have a log of what we do on the website. The website is a very delicate thing. It's not obviously the most advanced website you've seen that, but we've made do.
Yeah.
Right? So when you click something like altering a score, you need to make sure it's logged in a proper way, and also that all that's done. So a lot of back-end report stuff goes into updating the standings, which is why updating the standings isn't as quick as you think it is. Updating standings can take like half an hour just to do 5 games.
Wow, okay. Because just for me, I mean, it's kind of, despite me having the different things that I've got of being a caster and a coach and stuff, I just kind of have the same out view as a player would. So I'm looking and I'm presuming, okay, why don't you just put a couple of 1s here, a couple of 0s there, and everything's done. But I think that's just something that we don't realise
CL do take what they do seriously. They don't like, oh, it's a casual thing for us. I'm 99% sure this is my mess's job. Like, the revenue he makes from Twitch subs, Patreon, sponsors, that is his job.
Yeah.
His job is maintaining CL, and if it's his job, he obviously has to have the pride in it enough to do a lot of work in the back end, which means admins need to properly log what they're doing. They have to make sure any changes they make are properly sanctioned, written down, accounted for. That's why updating the standings can take a while, because it is taken seriously when we start messing with stuff.
Yeah, especially if, someone says, oh no, they forfeited this game, which is why it wasn't played, and they're like, no, actually we were completely there, but they just never joined the lobby. And then another team says, oh, an admin actually said that we couldn't play it. It's like, well, we don't know. So I suppose it's fair enough that we've got to confirm shit like that, which I think is a good insight. I think that's a very nice insight to have, because I know just simply from coaching, but I presume it's 10 times as worse from an admin perspective when you're in a position where you're not necessarily stressed, but your workload is full of just stuff that needs to get done, and that's filling up your stress meter. If someone then asks you pointless questions or questions that the answer is already there if you look for it, like you're people being lazy, it's like, mate, just fucking listen to what we've said 18 times. There was a conversation in the help desk on Bronze and Silver a while ago, which was about I think it was Pandas for Chairs and Revival saying like it's not fair that EGT, aka Demo, lost the games. 2 games now they just get to replay them again, and Val was like, no, actually they don't get to replay them.
They play less games.
They just play 2 less games. So in essence, if you went 1 and 2 and then remade your team, that's in essence of just going 0-3. So there is no benefit to remaking a team. You just play less games. And then Revival were like, we're going to end up playing less because PwC played 3 games in the first week. We only played 2. Just have faith in the admins.
Right. You may not think this. We do know what we're doing. Well, I say we. I'm no longer an admin, but they know what they're doing. Right. If we get this a lot. Why isn't the thing updated? Check the pinned messages. It says why. It says if you had an unregistered player, it will not update. If it was rescheduled, it has not updated yet. Stuff like that, okay? That is in pinned messages if you look at it. Please, for the love of God, look at the pinned messages help desk. Like, they answer actually more questions than you might think. And you're talking about the workload as well. I stepped down as head admin because I have university and CL became like all-encompassing. Like everything became about CL, which was an unpaid admin gig, right? Yes, it was good experience, but I had that experience, and now I needed to focus on my university. So, and that's the same with Val. He just stepped down because he does not have the time to dedicate to CL when he's got bigger fish to fry. And that's nothing to go against CL. True, like, it's a great place. Yeah.
I think that, so, just to interrupt, the biggest point that I will ever make in terms of this community, the Discord, the games, the streams, the scrims, everything to do with CompleteLeague, including this podcast itself. This is free and it's fun. It's literally all it is. It's exactly like the game of League of Legends itself. It's free and it's fun. We don't need to take this seriously. This is people embracing a community, helping certain people out, and just making this somewhere fun for people to just chill with their mates and have a good time. So
exactly.
Everything should just ultimately come down to that. If this isn't fun for someone, like if you're grilling Val because he couldn't do everything, like, the guy's doing this for fun, man.
Yeah.
Chill.
He's doing this off his own back he's giving up time he could be spent. Like, Val's in a pretty long-term relationship, which he has to deal with. He's got a job. He's got work to do study-wise. And he was taking time off his own back to do all of this for you for free. Like, you got it for free, he did it for free, but he did it in his own time. So you can't, be like, oh, fuck's sake, man, everything keeps fucking up. He's, trying his best. He tried his damn best.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what you can ask for. Obviously, you're like, oh, League's a free product. If you start getting entitled about CL, and you're like, but the argument is it's free, and someone says, I've actually had this argument before, because when I was head admin, I was like, we understand you're annoyed, but this is a free product that is voluntarily run. And you're like, yeah, but League's a free product. No, it's $1 billion company. Mind Messer is getting enough to get food on his plate.
Yeah, so it's not like the head owner of Riot
different.
is there putting 12 hours a day in and he's just getting a couple of beans for his tea. No, I'm pretty sure he's loaded. I think I've spent about $1,000 on Riot points anyway, so the guy is rolling.
Exactly, Riot have a massive corporation with, again, $1 billion, the co-founders are minted. They have staff coming out of everything. They have staff stationed across the globe, all doing what could be tiny things. They have people who just scroll through the game whilst it's live to pick up on cool things that might be happening. They can afford to hire those people full salaries, right? Yeah. Whereas CL is voluntarily run. It's so different.
Right. Okay. So I think we've covered that, and I think that's a nice insight for people to have that are in the community. Now, another thing that I wanted to touch on was Big Sexy put in a post, and he sent a couple of messages to admins, and I think this is something that is quite relative to you, I think, to even talk about. So I think you're in the lower golds at the minute in your relo, aren't you? That's kind of where you're stationed, at least where you were last season.
I've been gold for a while. I feel like this is self-defense. I've been on the cusp of plat. I just don't play solo queue that much.
Right. Okay.
I think I'm gold 1 in flex at the moment. Gold 5 in solo.
Right. Okay. So the point that he made was that he was silver 1, 100 LP, 2 wins in his promos, and he doesn't want to play solo queue anymore because he wants to play in the league, in Compete League.
There is a rule for that.
Yeah, he knows that if he goes into gold, that he then has to join the gold and plat team. And as a gold 5, it's going to be a lot harder to join a team than it would be if you're silver 1 trying to join a team in bronze and silver.
Yeah.
So he made the case that there should actually be a bronze, silver, and gold league, and then plat be its own league. So I just want to get your opinions on that in general.
No, I think you can. Yeah, obviously it's going to be harder to find a team when you're gold 5. But the thing is, with gold plat, it's a much larger open league. There is still the options available. I knew someone called Pikex, who got onto Premier League team at gold 5, and he was one of the best top laners. Okay, so stuff like that. The thing is, there is a rule that says if you're on a team actively, you have played games for them in the regular CL split, and you rank up beyond that level, you can still play for that team alone as long as you stay on that team. Okay? Yeah. For the rest of that league season. He can be gold. I think it was Big Sexy, yeah?
Yeah, Big Sexy, yeah.
Big Sexy. Big Sexy, you can get as far through gold as you want. But yes, you will have to go plat at Season 9 for League. You can play the next 2 splits and the Complete League Championship, no problem, right? But once you get to Season 9, yes, you have to move up. But that's
is what, like
choice.
7?
Yeah.
Not even 7, like
if
9
you want
months.
to, but by then, you said you've learned a lot through this game, but you would have now then spent a whole, basically, year in this league. I think by then you've learned what you can from a gold, from a bronze, silver level. That's when if you want to learn, that's when you can start to roll out into the gold plat league. And going bronze to gold is a terrible idea. It will discourage countless people from playing.
Yeah, I mean, I know silver 5 players that wouldn't play just if there was gold players, and bronze players wouldn't get a team. So I just want to see other people.
It would just become the gold league. Yeah. That's all it would be.
And the point that I made in chat, and obviously he's going to watch this and feel a little bit hard done by because he's not here to defend his own point, which I don't think is fair. But just to put 2 people's perspectives on it, I think bronze and silver league works really well because there is teams in this league where bronze players can get in. I know there's bronze players in this league. Yeah. And he wouldn't be able to get in a team if it was a gold, silver, bronze team.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, there's an open league. I think if you want to improve the way that Compete Leagues run, and it might be a little bit harsh on Platinum players, is make the open league, either split it into 2 open leagues and just have another league kind of thing for gold only, or just make open league gold explicitly, to give those gold 5 people an extra little potential to play. But at the same time, if we've got a Premier League of 10 teams, an open league of however many teams it is, and gold 5 people can't find teams because of their ELO, I'd be a little bit surprised.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the way it's run currently with the bronze, silver, open, and then same across the board, like they have the GP open, Diamond Plus open.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously you can start talking about the open leagues. The open leagues are a lot more malleable than Premier Leagues. You can start to maybe think about what if we split Gold Plat Open League up, or we have another one that is just league specific. That's where you can start doing stuff. Obviously, that's when workload could change. If you are splitting one open league into 2, then that's double the workload, right?
Yeah.
So you have to think of this from a Complete League perspective as well. If you're giving them double the amount of work, there's going to be a lot less incentive for staff to work.
Yeah, I can agree.
Because this is a voluntary job. So this is one of those things that you can't really talk about in the span of 5 minutes, and I'm not going to try to. There is too much to think about regarding splitting up leagues, changing how everything's run, because there's so many factors that need to come into it. I can't mention everything. I think even the CEO, like my mess, would only manage to fully encompass everything, like in this massive changing things up scenario within an hour.
Yeah. There's
too much. So to basically put it shortly, there's more to think about than what a player sees.
That's fair enough. It was just something I wanted to point out because it was something that was quite big in there. Bronze Silver community yesterday. So I think I'm at the point now where I want to ask a random phone call from a random number. We'll ignore that. Anyway, production value, people. There we go. So something I want to ask you on a more of a personal note is, where do you, Kwee, see yourself between now here in Season 8 to the end of Season 9? In what you want to do, what you might want to do, how you want to be viewed by the community, and just where you see yourself being, if even in CL at all.
Right, so I'm on a game level, like in terms of just League of Legends outside CL, on a rank time. I think I'm aiming for high plat in flex, and a lot of people who know me would be like, Kwee or Hardstyle Gold 5, get your head out your ass. I'm on a new team, which is predominantly Diamond. So, doing flex with them, I'm pretty sure getting that's not too difficult. We're already, on a 80% win rate in flex. But on a CompleteLeague level, I'm trying to make the most out of League whilst I can. Once I get... Because, like I said, I'm at university. There's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
So I want to make the most out of it whilst I can, and that involves... getting a nice rank that I can be happy with, getting a nice platboard by the end of it, and also with CompleteLeague, I think I'll try to do my best to keep up with it. Obviously, I recently transitioned as a caster. I was a color caster. I've moved to play-by-play. This is so I can basically cast League without actually having played it much, because I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't played it an overwhelming amount recently. My match history is all flex queue with the uni team, and that's it.
Right.
I haven't really done anything on my own back. Everything's been with someone else. So that's sort of my thing. I'm just trying to get to a point where it's self-sustaining, that I can do stuff with CL quite a while down the road without actually having to be too involved with the legitimate game, which is why I've moved as a caster to play-by-play. Stuff like that.
Okay. So, Season 8, we've got this new kind of World Championship kind of thing coming in at the end of the season. I'm going to ignore that one just for now.
I don't know anything about that as well.
Nor do I. But...
CL keeping it very under wraps about what it is, and I haven't worked for them recently enough to actually know.
Right, so I'm going to ignore that though. Season 9, they're gonna have this, I presume, end of season tournament to go off, right? You're being this play-by-play caster now. You're getting yourself involved. You've been in the scene for long enough. You've got the synergy with a lot of the casters, including some of the favourites in terms of Kraden, Greyheart, even Counterfeit as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to be one of these casters that is looked upon in almost a godly stature of being, you're the main event. You are the game 5 of the final. You're in that position.
Right. I've done a finals before. I did the Bronze Silver finals in its last split before it last died, and that was my first ever split as a caster. I think I've been really fortunate with Gold Platinum. I was also, when I was a head admin, I forgot to mention this, I was also a community manager.
Okay.
And so I put a lot of time into the community, which was largely the player base. So already I was on quite good terms with them, I like to think. And I'm sort of doing something similar with Bronze Silver. I'm hoping that they think I'm not that much of a dick, even if So I'm not able to cast Mondays because of uni commitments. I've got a lecture going from 6 to 8, and I've got a bunch of stuff going on. I physically can't.
Yeah.
So I'm just sort of trying to put my time into Bronze Silver whilst I can.
The fact that you're the first person on the podcast and you've also been doing the power rankings too, I think is enough to say that people in Bronze and Silver need to give you a little bit of credit, if not all the credit, just to at least put in the effort in. So yeah, as we're saying, go on.
Yeah. So, but in terms of caster, I am not as good. I don't know how much Bronze Silver has seen of the likes of Greyheart, Kraden, and Counterfeit. Counterfeit has done a caster split with me. He is magnificent. He is doing ESL. He is doing big UK stuff. He's been on TV for advocating for casters in the UK. He's a up there dude. He's very good. Kraden's actually such a weird one. Everyone unanimously says Kraden is one of the most laid back and most effortless casters you will ever watch. The guy just does it without breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
He some of the stuff he says, just sounds like it came off a script. Like, how did you get that off top of his head like that? Nothing. But the thing is, he's also working full time. So he's dedicated himself to CL, like almost exclusively as a caster, which is incredibly fortunate for us because damn, he's good.
Oh yeah.
But so I think giving him finals positions is usually a given because he deserves it.
Yeah.
Because that is his moment of glory. Greyheart had a finals position last split for Gold Platinum where he did like the 5 games then for the best of 5 finals. But Greyheart is doing what Cradden didn't, and he wants to expand himself outside. He's got paid gigs. He's doing something for V4, I think it's called, which is a €300,000 prize pool, and he's casting that. So obviously he's going above and beyond our little like speck on the League of Legends.
Oh please, CompleteLeague is phenomenal. ESL V2, that's what we are.
Yeah. But so I think it would be nice to do some playoff casts. I think I would imagine I'd end up on around semi-finals of Gold Plat. I like to think I might end up on the analyst desk for the finals of Gold Plat. We do analyst desks, by the way. So stuff like that, I think I'm all right with doing. I don't want to take anything from Cradden specifically because, by God, he's good. And then as for color casters, we've had a pretty nice influx, yourself included, obviously. OJD recently joined us. He's great.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential for the final casts, and I don't want to talk too early because obviously I don't have a say in it anymore. That's down to Doctor.
And you are fully entitled to your opinion, and I doubt Doctor's going to be watching this anyway. If you are, Doctor, big up you. Nice one.
But yeah, I think what will happen, this is sort of what I hope. I think Gold Plat, when you get to the CLC, the CompleteLeague Championships, this split, I think the finals, their priority will be on, in Gold Plat, Cradden as the play-by-play, and as for the colour, maybe OJD, unless he does Diamond. Again, I don't know enough about Diamond. I'm not going to touch on it.
Right, yeah.
Then Bronze Silver, I can fully imagine yourself being the colour, and they'll probably try if I can, they might throw me in. Otherwise, it'll maybe be Johnny Esports would probably be a player for that. So I think that's probably roughly what's going to go down.
So with Greyheart and yourself, kind of.
Greyheart, if he says he wants to do CompleteLeague as much as possible. It depends on how busy he is. I think Greyheart definitely will be involved in playoffs for as many of the splits as he can. Like he will try and do like playoffs, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Plat, and Diamond Plus if he can. But I don't know if he's going to be on the finals because obviously, as he's spending a bit less time with CompleteLeague than he used to, as he's only trying to restrict himself to 1 CL cast a week max.
Yeah.
So I think he's totally fine stepping back for those. Like, he's a modest man. He'll probably be like, I haven't done as much as some of these people. I want to give it to them.
Yeah.
Which I can see happening. So I think I think he's the person to give over the finals, but happily take a semis as many times as possible.
That's good to hear. So I think it's about time we come to the end of wrapping this up because fuck knows how long this has been. But is there anything that you want to talk about? Anything that you want to say just before I cut you off? Anything on your mind at all? That
I think I've pretty much gone over everything. I think CL is a lot of layers to it. You can't really draw any conclusions about it from what you see as a player. We do try our best over here, and as long as you're enjoying it and making sure you stay within reasonable bounds with what you're doing in the community, it is there for you to enjoy. So just keep doing so.
That sounds good to me. Hopefully, guys, the audio is fine. Looking at just the green bars at the bottom of OBS, it looks okay. It might not, but we'll fucking see. The whole point of this is just to be laid back and have a laugh. But it had been fucking fantastic to have you on, Kwee. Learning stuff about you that I didn't even know was there. Nice little insight, especially towards the background of CL and obviously the casting side of things, which I'll be very happy to get involved in the future. Cheers for a little shout out. Casting colour for Bronze Silver finals would be the ideal situation. So if I get that, that'd be fucking beautiful. But yeah, really nice to have you on. We'll see how things go for the future. There's going to be a couple of outros to look out for, Kwee, that you've not heard about. So have fun watching the podcast back to see those. And And yeah, I'll be in touch.
I'm excited now.
I'll be in touch with you soon about them. Seriously, just me rambling on and having a laugh with myself. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. The outros will kind of be the rest of the things about what I want you guys to do. But cheers for all of that. Kwee, big thanks for coming on. And that's going to be it. Oh shit, I forgot the fucking intro again. Right, I'm going to do this now before I finish this. This is how I wanted to start each thing. When I first joined Planets with Chairs long ago, I had a fucking... I wonder if I can bring this up now. Let me have a look.
You're checking the copyright?
This won't be copyright at all. This is now just... This is the waffling that this podcast needs. Because they've got access to my fucking thing. I think it's with Steam. No, it's with Twitch. Fucking hell. I don't know if you've seen the Planets with Chairs website. It is actually fucking phenomenal.
It's so... I go on there for a good giggle. That's...
There you go. Actually, you can see this when we come on. So that's a beautiful picture of me when I had somewhat shorter hair. But oh, it doesn't show the whole thing. Hang on, I will make this work somehow. Oh, it doesn't have the... I know I will do this. Sorry about this, buddy. You just kind of... Boom. The spice to make it nice. The personification of obliteration. The man with an ego hits like a torpedo. This fucking guy. That's meant to be my catchphrase, but I forgot it twice in a row now. Yeah, it's cringe as shit, and now I've really fucked it over twice. But there we go. I'm from Stockport, and that's my birthday, 12th of April 98. So if there isn't fucking happy birthday posts on the Discord community in the very short days until it is my birthday, I'll be very upset. Anyway, I'm going to fucking let you go, Kwee, because it's been too long. So,
alright.
Cheers for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. The boring shit that every YouTuber says, but fuck it. I just want to get your opinions on how things are going. And next week, we'll get another or a new person on. Cheers for watching. Adios, guys. Right, guys. I've already put one that... I've already done one outro, but this is another outro. But I'm going to record when Kwee doesn't know I'm recording. And we're just going to talk through shit, just for the bants, and see if he says anything mental. Right, 1 second. You right, buddy? Loving it. Right, obviously I can't put my webcam on because the recording software needs to see it, but I'm gonna just make sure that everything's lined up right. Okay, your webcam's frozen.
Yeah, it should be alright now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just quickly changing my internet over.
That's first. Okay, that looks
cool.
Like it's right. Yeah, it doesn't catch the very... Actually, if I go full, no. It doesn't catch the very bottom or very top, but it catches enough.
Cool.
So it's fine.
Right, I need to open this document.
Le document.
Oh.
Yeah, and just like... We don't need to cast or anything. Just turn it into a fucking regular conversation. And it'll be alright.
So I can't whip out my awkward caster voice.
You can't rip out your awkward caster voice. That shows how I'm doing today.
Nice.
I'm hoping it records. It shows that it's recording your volume, but we'll see. As long as you can't get a echo, it should be okay.
Are you streaming or just going recording?
Pardon?
Are you streaming or recording? Or both?
Just recording. Right, okay. Right. It actually stops your webcam when I go off Skype, so I need to keep it open. I know what I'll do. I will split it.
Shouldn't do. Have you made sure it's capturing only that window, not the entire screen?
Where
have I put my glasses?
Right, that works. Haha, I'm a legend.
Why are my glasses not there? I'll be 1 second.
No worries.
Need to look at my Overwatch poster for a bit.
Oh yeah, quality Overwatch poster. That needs to be on the podcast at some point.
There you go.
I can literally not... Torbjorn? I can't remember. I've not played that game in so fucking long. Alright. That's going to be fine, I think.
Alright. Je suis back.
French. We're not on the podcast yet. Right.
I was about to say, if you started that early, I felt like I would have been unprepared.
Guys, I'm fucking so bored. Where's Kwee? It's 3 o'clock. We were going to do it at fucking 11:30 yesterday. He wanted to do it after the fucking stream on the fucking Twitch yesterday. And he's still not here. I want a drink and I can't. I'm going to do it anyway, lads. Shh. You don't have to know this. It helps if I knew how to do it. First one. How about that? Look at them bubbles. Val, stop judging me for the beer that I'm drinking. It's all alcohol. And we're still on the Corona. But you will have already seen that I'm on the Corona. Because I'm going to put this at the end of the fucking video. How about this though? How about this? If you are watching at this point, just what's your opinion on the new background and shit? Rather than just having here's an image, here's an image, here's an image, here's an image. Done a nice little blue border. And then put the webcam on. And you've already seen that this is live and shit. But I think that's cool. And then the Invisi podcast logo. Big up Kwee that did that, by the way. But I've already because this is the first time that I'm saying it, but I know it's the second time you're hearing it. Pretty weird, isn't it? Now this might not be recorded until the Thursday at this rate. Because there's something about me waffling on that I don't really want to do when my parents are in. Because, you know, man's 19, still living at home. Nearly 20 though. Very, very nearly 20. Actually, I am 20 in less than a month. Fucking hell, man, I'm 20 in less than a month. Well, there you go. I wonder if you saw the red lines there. That'd be interesting to see. What's that even from? Oh, it's the fucking Gandalf thing, innit? That's the one. Big up the people who are preferring the end of the podcast, this little bit, to the actual one. They're my real fans, do you know what I mean? They're the ones that have liked, subscribed and commented, because I got no comments last time. Cheers for that, boys. Cheers for that. Appreciate it. That's how I like it. I'm going to go check Discord. Best thing is you can't even see that I'm checking Discord. You can just see it. If you watch my face, because that's the fucking bronze and silver power ranking stream, which is fucking blue and shiny. But then if I just move this over, you can actually, oh shit, you can actually see it on my monitor in the background. Yo, look at that. You can see that, like, monitor. Shit, you can't see my finger. Can you see my cursor? Maybe. I don't know. But you can see it there on the wardrobe. You've got monitor, but you can see as I just drag over Discord, it gets darker. And obviously my face gets darker too. It's like getting a tan, but for free. I wonder if I fucked up at any point during this podcast. It's entirely possible that I just said the wrong names, or said something that I kind of want to say, but at the same time, maybe not the best time to do so. We'll see about that. Oh, I've got a topic. I wonder if I talk about it. This is brilliant, because you guys are seeing what's already happened. Oh, I need to blow my nose though, actually. Fuck. Let's go to the bathroom in a bit. How long should I make this little snippet? How long should I make it? Because this is just like the... It's like extras, like... Do you know when movies and shit are being recorded and then, like, the lead actor will laugh and everyone starts laughing and they just do the same thing over and over again but they keep laughing because it's a really shit joke, but the fact that it is a shit joke makes it funny, do you know what I mean? It's like that, but this is just long and me rambling, waiting for Kwee. Where the fuck is Kwee? I'll see if he's got back to me. Here comes the money, here we go. Here comes the money. Money, money, money. That's Shane McMahon's theme song for the WWE stroke WWF. Hashtag World Wildlife Federation, whatever the fuck it was called. Foundation, it probably was. It was probably Foundation. Big up Drigger. That's my boy. Why don't it focus? If I move it backwards, I don't know where the fucking thing is, but fucking Beyblade, man. Just sits there on my desk. Just my good luck charm now. Ever since I changed my name. Ah, I probably left that Snapchat group, didn't I? Yeah, I probably did. I probably did. Ripperoonies. Right, lads. Cheers for everyone who watched the podcast. Nice just to kind of provide some kind of content. Might be shit, might be good. Who knows? If you did enjoy it, though, do leave a like. Or if you didn't enjoy it, do leave a dislike. Because I'm not being monetized or anything. That's like better, do you know what I mean? Because I don't care, like, I'm not getting money or anything from this. I won't get money anyway, I've got 50 views. But, do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make this like a fucking career. I'm just doing it for content. So, on like a scale of 1 to 10, if it was 5 or lower, put a dislike. And if it was 6 or higher, put a like. And if it wasn't a 10 out of 10, actually, even if it was a 10 out of 10, put in the comments what would make it better. Or if it was a 10 out of 10, what's... Just tell me that was a 10 out of 10, because cheers. So tell me what was shit, tell me what was good. And on the next one, we'll see what happens. What Kwee doesn't know is I've been thinking, if this goes well, or better than the first one, in terms of just synergy, make it like a 3-man podcast. So like on the Euphoria one, how you've got Dracos and Deficio, we'll have Drigger and Kwee, and then just another guest, like that rotates every week. But I didn't think I'd tell him because it might not work. So that'll be the decider. So Kwee, if at this point you're watching back the podcast, and I have not asked you to be a permanent partner, it's either because I've not decided yet, or I didn't enjoy it. Just letting you know. But welcome back to the podcast anytime, because, you know, I'm sure it'll be a laugh. Just have fun with it. As long as he has fun with it, it'll be okay. If he tries to... here's the thing, we're both casters, right? And if you're trying to cast, you've got to have an element of professional. Like, is that the right grammatical way you word that sentence? I don't know. But you've got to kind of be professional with it and be entertaining. With this, you don't really have to be entertaining. You just got to be natural that makes it entertaining. Do you know what I mean? Like, me talking is entertaining in a way, but the fact that I can just fucking ramble isn't what you can do when you're casting, because you've got to, like, be fucking changing the tone of your voice, getting hype about shit. Like, if Zach lands a 2-man E, you've got to be like, oh, what a fucking combo! And... really, he's just landed an E on 2 people. Speaking of Zach, right, fuck that champion. Just had a game of Caitlyn, and I just got fucking wrecked by Zach constantly. And it got to a point where, obviously, you've got the 90 caliber net to try and get out of the fucking E. So at first, it's like, right, okay, I'm going to dodge just by going backwards to be closer to turret. But then, as soon as I did that, he predicted it. So, like, I didn't even get one work. So I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is just not use it. Walk forward so he goes really far back. And then I can just 90 caliber net somewhere else, like to the side, and just get away. But then he predicted that. So the guy's just a dick, is what I'm saying. The guy is just a dick. fuck Zach. Although, Ice, really good performance, mate, and I hope you enjoy being second on the list. Leaks. Not leaks, you've already seen it. So yeah, as long as he doesn't like try and cast and he just is himself, it'll be alright. It'll be alright. Actually, here's another point. If you are watching at this point, if you've made it to the very end, you can leave a comment in on who you want to see. So whether that's yourself, if you just fancy a bit of a laugh with the lads, or if there's someone that you genuinely want to get an opinion of, because the only reason I wait till after Monday to decide is because, say if like Motor Joe came off and got a pentakill, it's like, you know what, I think he deserves to come on. But like, really, like Kwee doesn't even fucking play, so it's fine. So yeah, if you have an idea of someone you want to hear from, yeah, I can pull up the kind of people who have already said. So Kwee and Rudy have both said that they want to, and they've got webcam and are ready to drink. Valkyrie also said that he wants to and has webcam and is ready to drink. Big Sexy and Motor Joe both said that they want to, but they've not got a webcam. I want Val to come on at some point, but now he's not the head organiser and might not be as important. But fuck it, let's get the guy on anyway, because he wants to talk about beer, so that'll be a nice little fucking... That'll be a good one, that, if Val comes on. Because we can just fucking run... I'll tell you what would be a good one if Val comes on with Big Sexy. Imagine that for a podcast, that'll be good. So, hopefully that can happen at some point. The dogs are barking now. What day is it? Wednesday? Yeah. Right, I'm not sure how long this bit is now, so I'm just going to leave it, and then Kwee and I are either going to record it on the Wednesday today or on Thursday, and I'll make sure I wear the flannel shirt again. It'll be fine. I've literally only just put it on, and I've washed it, so it should be fine. I'll just take it off again. Right, guys, do everything I just said, and I'll see you later.